while the purported 16th of February Russian invasion of Ukraine did not materialize, the West remains very alert and wary of the concerns of Russia's military build-up at the border. The United States says that there is actually continued presence, and contrary to the Russian claims, more number of troops have now been moved in Russia and also in attacking positions along the border with Ukraine. The White House has said that Russia has actually increased its presence at the Ukrainian border by as many as about 7,000 troops, some of which have arrived as recently as Wednesday, that is yesterday. In fact, various American officials have said that Russia's actions simply do not match with their words. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky was crisscrossing the country to help bolster the morale of the Ukrainians, also observed the military drills by his own armed forces. And he remains unconvinced of the announcement by the Russians that they have pulled back a part of their soldiers who were stationed along the border with Ukraine, and has said that Ukraine is not scared and is ready to face any eventuality. Listening to what the Ukrainian Prime Minister had to say.
Бачимо велике накопичування військ, воно не змінюється за останні вже тижні. Ми бачимо ті чи інші невеличкі ротації. Я б не називав би сьогодні ці ротації відведенням військ з боку Російської Федерації.
Meanwhile, satellite images also supported these statements. The battle groups of the armored vehicles. A new attack helicopter unit was also seen along Ukraine's border in Crimea, Belarus and Western Russia. Now, all of this troop build-up by the Russians goes clearly against what the Russians have said this week, that they are pulling back some of their forces after exercises in southern and western military districts near Ukraine. Russia even went on to publish a video that showed tanks, artillery units, etc. leaving the Crimean Peninsula. Right, now to give us more insights in terms of what's actually happening along the border with Ukraine, and has Russia indeed pulled back the troops as it claims to have done, we are joined in by our correspondent Stuart Smith, who's joining us live from Moscow. Stuart, thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast. Now, this is a very interesting moment in this entire crisis, where for the Russians, they claim that they have actually scaled down some of the troops after the drills that they were conducting are over. But the Americans claim that Russians have actually increased their military presence. They've increased the number of soldiers who are being deployed by 7,000. And now the Russians are in a more attacking position than they were before. Who are we to believe in these claims and counterclaims that are being put forth by Moscow and Washington?
Well, in some ways, both can be true. As the NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg put it on Wednesday, moving troops and tanks back and forth does not amount to proof of a pullout. There does seem to be quite solid evidence from the Russian Ministry of Defense that certain troops were removed from Crimea, that disputed region of Ukraine that Russia de facto controls, and they are heading 1,000 kilometers east by rail, as the ministry says. But at the same time, satellite evidence shows that there are more troops arriving, and so the overall change in the number of troops is net positive. There are more there than before. And to be clear, the Russian Ministry of Defense never branded this as a de-escalation or a drawdown. The Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs has so far even failed to say it's escalated its number of troops near Ukraine in the first place. So it seems like a movement of troops, but not the de-escalation that the West has been calling for. Now, with regards to the latest on the front line in Ukraine, notable this morning that there were reports from the Luhansk and Donetsk People's Republic. They say overnight Ukraine were shelling those positions. Remember, this is the region of Ukraine backed by Russia that declares itself autonomous and has recently been declared autonomous by the Russian parliament. Now, Ukraine says it was not involved in any shelling, that actually they were restrained this morning when the separatist regions attacked them, and Ukraine withheld its military response. So conflicting reports, but this is exactly the kind of incident, the kind of provocation that both sides caution could lead to something more.
Now, at this point of time, for people who are looking at this crisis unfold very closely, at this point of time, have the Russians at all indicated as to how long the Russian troops will be stationed in the positions that they've been stationed? Russia claims that it is only carrying out regular military drills. When will all of this, of course, come to an end? Because this cannot go on in perpetuity.
Indeed, and that's exactly what the UK Foreign Minister Liz Truss warned about this morning. She says that this could go on for months. It could be drawn out. Russia does have a huge number of funds in reserve in its national coffers and could draw this out if it should choose. Indeed, these are officially all just drills, and all drills will eventually come to an end, according to the Russian Ministry of Defense, saying that most of them will take place and have finished by the end of February. Some may take longer. The most significant drills when it comes to what we're seeing at the moment are the estimated around 30,000 Russian troops in Belarus to the north of Ukraine. Those drills, for instance, are expected to end on the 20th of February, and Belarus says that not a single Russian soldier or Russian piece of equipment will be left behind. But it is hard to guess which set of drills Russia is referring to when it says they will all end soon, because there are multiple ones taking place all at the same time. Just today, there are a new set of naval drills in the Caspian Sea, for example, with around 20 Russian ships taking part. So with drills constantly beginning and constantly ending, there is no sign of when exactly this may end.
Absolutely, indeed. And also to, in fact, refer back to what is happening in Donetsk and in Luhansk. You mentioned that there was some kind of disturbance where the locals in Luhansk and Donetsk have reportedly said that they came under some shelling. What are the Ukrainians saying about it officially, and has Russia had anything to say about this?
Yeah, the official Ukrainian response from a press secretary is that Ukraine was fired upon first from the east, and its soldiers were restrained and did not fire back. But the Donetsk People's Self-Declared People's Republic and Luhansk People's Republic say that it was Ukraine that initiated shelling overnight, and 4 violations of the Minsk agreement occurred. Now, this wouldn't be unusual. Over the past 7 years, both sides are constantly accusing the other of breaking the Minsk agreement. But when it's at this situation, when there are these very high risks with any number of provocations potentially leading to an excuse for Russia to move in and justify protecting this autonomous region, this makes the stakes particularly high.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Stuart Smith, for joining us and getting us all those updates then. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.